Howdy, folks, and welcome back to WandaVision. We are up to episode 4, is that right? In the last episode, Geraldine got kicked out for knowing too much and asking too many questions, the wrong questions, and she had a S.W.O.R.D logo on her necklace, and Wanda did not appreciate that, or did not appreciate the questions, and kicked her out in a very cold, menacing and cold way that before we knew that she had survived, we thought maybe she'd killed her or something. But the trailer kind of gave away the fact that she got ejected, so I guess we kind of assumed that would happen. But we saw a little bit of the outside world. It looks like they've got some, I presume, S.W.O.R.D encampment out there. They're surrounding the place. We saw that this town is basically in a bubble of sorts that Wanda is creating with her own powers, I imagine. I think the theory is right that the people inside are real people. Not people she fabricated, real people that just happen to be in there and are trapped inside and are playing roles, I think they're playing the roles, I think it's almost probably like not a daydream. It's probably like they're playing the roles and then they have this kind of a weird sort of daydreamy sort of feeling that they really are somebody else, that they have a real life. With the exception of her neighbor, who was it Agnes? I can't remember. Who seems to know a bit more. And her other neighbor seems to know a bit more too. But Agnes seems to know a lot. So a lot of speculation about whether or not she's actually part of some sort of effort to manipulate Wanda into doing what she's doing. But I'm excited to see the outside world. Hopefully in this episode, we should have gone to the 80s now. Inside the bubble, I'll call it that. And then I hope we can get some time outside the bubble in this episode. When I clicked on it, the thumbnail showed outside the bubble. That's promising, right? Let's see. Oh, yes, and Wanda has 2 baby boys now. Are they real? Who knows? Oh, we get a flashback of who she is. Okay. So she definitely is. Very strange. What's going on here? She definitely is the character. Monica Rambeau, is that the name of this character, or is that the name of her mother? I can't remember now. But she is the daughter of Captain Marvel's friend, because we just heard the flashbacks, the voiceovers from Captain Marvel, calling her Lieutenant Trouble. So what is this with her? Is this her coming into WandaVision's town, Wanda's town now? Is that what's going on? Oh, the dusting. Oh, holy crap. We've never seen this before. We just saw somebody come back from being dusted. It didn't even dawn on me that that's what we're seeing. She was dusted when Thanos snapped the fingers, and then when Hulk snapped fingers, we just witnessed her coming back. Wow. That's cool. So she was in a patient's room, and she's looking for a patient, I presume her mother. And she's in absolute horror because she doesn't know what happened to her mother. She came back and her mother's not there. I'm guessing if that's her mother that she's waiting for.
She died, honey.
Oh no. Very cool. This is amazing, and this is MCU. It's kind of like I'm feeling like what we did with Mandalorian, where we're getting some really cool details in I'll call it a TV show if you want, but you know what I mean, a scripted episodic series. We're getting details in that universe that we didn't get in the movies, and here in an MCU TV show, for lack of a better word, we're getting details that we didn't get in the movies. We saw the after effects of people coming back in the movies, like Ant-Man, for instance. And then the next thing we knew, of course, we got a phone call in the movies when Hawkeye's wife came back. And then, of course, we saw all the heroes arrive in the big battle. But we never really saw somebody reform, and a whole bunch of people reforming, and the panic that was caused by all the people reforming. This is really cool. Oh, no. I just had a thought. They showed us Monica Rambeau coming back. Are they going to show us Wanda coming back? And what Wanda does? That would be cool. Am I hoping for too much? Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division.
Over here, please.
Oh, she was already working for S.W.O.R.D. And she just came back to work, and I was wondered why the TVs were talking about people coming back from the blip. And I was like, wow, is this right after she came back or years later? Why would they have them there for years later? So I work here. She worked for S.W.O.R.D. before she was dusted, before the blip. And now she just came back and her card's been revoked and her security pass. Okay.
Hi. Good morning.
Okay, so we take from this that her mother was the director of S.W.O.R.D. Interesting. Because I thought S.W.O.R.D. was created... this is where my... even though I read a lot of Marvel comics growing up, I didn't read the S.W.O.R.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. I always thought S.W.O.R.D. was created after the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Nick Fury was the director, and he founded it. But no, it looks like it was created maybe around the time after Captain Marvel arrived on Earth in the 90s, maybe? And her mother was the original director, I'm guessing? I think that's what they're setting up here in the movies.
What's that?
She believed you'd come back. You'd be doing me a big favor with this FBI thing.
Westview. There we go. And there's that agent from Ant-Man and the Wasp. There he is.
Woo.
There's the drone. Oh, and it looks like a little helicopter.
Watch it.
Is she going to go in?
Rambeau.
Well, it sucked her in.
Captain Rambeau.
Well, now we know how Geraldine got in. And there she is! Yay! Kat Dennings. Love her.
No one cares.
All right, grab your gear.
If you haven't seen Kat in the original Thor, you should check. I mean, come on. You have. I know you have. You haven't seen her in Two Broke Girls, the CBS sitcom? You got to watch it. It's hilarious.
Noise here.
Oh, and that's why they were right. In the very end of the very first episode, we see it was a woman's hand watching the monitor, watching TV. It becomes her because she's able to somehow tune in and watch what's going on inside. That's cool. I guess we'll see that here. And here comes the beehive guy, the bee suit guy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at this point, they still didn't know anything about Wanda. Apparently. No, wait a minute. When did we... Because this is episode 2. If this is the beehive guy. At the end of episode 2 is where we first heard the comment, Wanda, who's doing this to you? Right? Right, yeah. Because the end of episode... Or not the end of episode 2. During episode 2. The first radio communication where Emma Caulfield was hurt and her hand was bleeding. That was episode 2. And that was after... Okay, I'm getting confused again. Beehive Guy was the end of 1? Or the end of 2? Beehive Guy was the end of 2. Right, pregnancy, right? Yes, okay. So this is happening right now, say, beginning of episode 2? So they must identify it being Wanda prior to him popping out, looking for Rambeau. He's looking for Rambeau, for Monica. Because they don't know anything apparently about Wanda yet. So I imagine Kat Dennings' character is going to find that out. Okay, I'm just trying to piece it together in my head beforehand, trying to see if I can predict where the story's going, because that's always fun. And don't you say you don't do that too. You may not pause it and do it, but in your head you're doing it. I'm just slower than you. That's all. And here's a shot from the end of episode 1. Okay, so we've got confirmation now that these are all real people. Absolute confirmation. We just figured it before. It was a guess, then it made sense. Now it's confirmed. These are all real people.
Played by Todd and Sharon Davis. Let's get the show on the road.
They can bleed in. So they're going to, like she said, this is where we get the radio broadcast. She's figured out a way to kind of punch through a frequency to transmit to her. Did you guys notice as well, back up here, that, and where we saw what we saw in the episode. We saw what we saw in the episode where they both start to hear Jimmy's his name, right? Talking through the radio. But then Kat Dennings' character sees, I haven't remembered her name yet, sees a glitch, like a cut to after what we saw. We saw them both staring at the radio. Emma Caulfield's character breaking the glass, her hand red with blood, and then Wanda handed her a napkin or something. But what Kat Dennings' character sees is them initially start to kind of react, and then it cut to immediately with Emma Caulfield's character with the napkin in her hand, making that crack about doing it herself. Interesting. Right there. See it? Straight to Pop Quiz Wanda. Very interesting. I think one thing that proves to me is we're not seeing like a transcribed or recorded version of what S.W.O.R.D is recording. Obviously, since they didn't start recording until well into episode 1. Not well into episode 1. No, wait a minute. They started recording pretty much at the beginning of episode 1. But we're not seeing that. We're seeing the version of what's happening inside. Little minor point of clarification, I guess. The people on the outside aren't seeing some of the things we're seeing, is what I'm getting at. They won't see the rewind. Oh, we'll find out. They won't see the rewind with the bee suit, but we'll find out. All right, bee suit guy. Yeah, he transitions to the bee suit immediately as he passes through. This is also significant. The end of it transitions to basically a jump rope. It looks like that's a jump rope. And it came through that way. Just like when Monica was ejected, she came through with her hairdo and her outfit. So anything I guess it's not really an illusion. Anything inside the barrier is not an illusion. It's a transformation. So that cable was transformed into, the end of the cable was transformed into a jump rope. Came back as a jump rope. Very interesting. Oh, dang it. I hope we get to see what happened to him. It just cut away when they showed the no part.
Look at me.
Okay, am I the only one who wants these two to get together now? Assuming that she doesn't have anybody yet, and he doesn't have anybody. I don't think he's married. I don't think she's married. All of a sudden, I ship him.
Oh, you took a chip? Sure. Where'd you go?
God, not again.
Yeah, we didn't see it at all. Same thing. We skipped right past it. Oh, is she going to be able to see what happened in between?
There's nothing here. 1 second, Monica is standing right there, and the next she isn't.
And here comes Rambeau. Oh, we get to see more.
I want you to leave.
Okay, it's not all mental. Like I said before, the people are transformed. The things are transformed. The cable to the jumping rope, and that sort of thing. But what's in here? All of this stuff we're seeing is not mental. It's not an illusion. She's physically transformed it all to look like this, and she does so from decade to decade, from episode to episode, because we just saw her. She broke Monica through the walls and through the fences, and that was real breaking going on. And then she had to physically reconstruct it to put it back to normal. So she couldn't just like snap her fingers and it was normal, or just have it fade back into normality or whatever. So it's not like it's all in anybody's mind. It's not in her mind. I mean, technically it's kind of in her mind, but she's physically transformed this town. I didn't think it. I don't know why. I don't know why I was thinking before this episode that it might have been only in people's heads, that it just looked that way, because I guess that made it easier for me to explain how they switched decades so quickly. But it's not. It's physical. Oh boy! Whoa! So I just said that it was all physical changing, but is Vision different? Is Vision really an illusion she's putting on top of him since he is dead? I mean, did she just see what he really looked like? That she was just animating his corpse? Or was that just her having a nightmare sort of flash vision of what he, vision, pardon the pun, of what he used to look like, or what he looked like after Thanos was done with him? Or is he really that way now, here? That's the big question now about the show, right? I mean, not only is somebody else affecting Wanda, but also what becomes of Vision? I guess Vision and the kids, right? Does Vision actually come out of this alive, so to speak, as a result of what Wanda's done? Do the kids, do the boys, the twins, do they survive? Were they real since she created them? Ah, okay. Well, I mean, that was kind of creepy, but also kind of cool.
sure?
4x3 again. Okay, so this episode was really... Let me just check to make sure there's no after credit scene. And that's a Wanda. No after credit scene. Okay, so this episode was really all about the outside, which I thought was kind of refreshing. I love that scene at the beginning showing us people coming back after the snap. We did not ever see that. I think that was really cool. A little bit of backstory from Monica. And how she got where she was and how she ended up being inside, which was really clever and really cool for us to see. Got introduced to Kat Dennings' character, which is great. Got introduced to the character, the FBI agent, Jimmy Woo, right? Really cool. I do ship them now. And got caught up on the outside world to the point where we left off on the inside world with Monica being ejected. So I presume next episode we will enter the 80s. Because this one was still catching up all the way through up to the 70s, right? We went 50s, 60s, 70s. The first 3 episodes were recapped basically from the outside in this one, which was cool. We needed to know that. Now, Jimmy's still saying, Jimmy's saying, who's doing this to you, Wanda, when he was making the broadcast. I don't think he has any suspicion that I think he's just presuming that Wanda and Vision's corpse, the 2 Avengers, would be trapped in this thing that somebody else put them in. I don't think he's made the connection yet that it could be her doing it. Because I think she's doing it all. Now, I've left open the possibility in my mind that somebody could be, like prompting her or encouraging her to do things. For whatever reason, I don't know what the reason would be. But I think she's doing it all. He just hasn't made that connection yet. He's just looking at it from the assumption that some bad actor has put her there. And so that's why he keeps asking that question. All right, we got the outside. We know the players. And we learned a little bit more about S.W.O.R.D, too. Like I said, that it was created a long time ago. I didn't think it was created that long ago. And that her mother was the director, which is really cool. So next episode, we're going to go into the 80s. I wonder if we're going to get pure sitcom next episode, or if it's going to be a mixture, or if we're going to do like sitcom, then outside, then sitcom, then outside, every other episode sort of thing. I guess we now understand why they said they, in the interview, the actors said that they did the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and aughts, right? 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and aughts. And that's 6 episodes, and they have 9 episodes this season, so there's 3 more. Well, here's one of them, right? So we could have 2 more episodes that are completely outside of the sitcom world. And I presume the last one will be one of those, right? Maybe the last 2. Who knows? But no, this was really cool. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. What theories you have about do we still believe somebody else is doing this to her, or somebody else is influencing her? I'm actually kind of thinking no at this point. I think it's just her. I know that Agnes, the neighbor, is suspicious. But then again, we got the impression from last episode that everybody senses that something is wrong, and everybody has a kind of a feeling that this isn't real. So I'm not so sure she's guilty of anything. So I still want to know how this is going to tie into Doctor Strange, because they said it was. Kevin Feige said it would tie into Doctor Strange, the next episode of our next installment of the Doctor Strange movies. So a lot of theories to go on, a lot of questions. Do you also ship Kat Dennings' character and Jimmy Woo? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.